Good afternoon, India and rest of the world, and good afternoon to all my fellow colleagues and participants and the accomplished speakers. I was asked to speak on a topic that's very close to our heart and interesting. So let me start by sharing my screen here. Hold on. So I assume you can all see my screen now?
Yes, Venkatesh.
Awesome. Okay, so I was told that the brief given to me was how can business and IT work together or align to move to the cloud. You know, we've been having discussions about what's the cloud, how do we migrate, what's the definition, and there are a lot of memes going around. There are a lot of us who have actually gone down this path quite early in our careers, have had to take a U-turn and come back, have had to take a left turn, stop for a vada pav or a chola bhatura or an idli sambar, depending on which part of the country you are from, and have to reconvene our journey. What really happens is a couple of topics I'm going to touch on. I'm going to touch upon the leadership topic for which IT has to take on, and it's high time. I always said this, IT took a place at the round table. Opportunity for IT to assume leadership and guide the organization forward. What are some of the opportunities available to us within the cloud and how should we focus? So those are things I'm going to touch on. It will not be a very technical presentation, so I'm sorry to disappoint you with that. But we will talk about other issues that we need to focus on and not technical. Technical is hygiene, that's taken for granted. Look at the global transformation market. If you actually look at the entire market, we are talking about a market that's at about 500 billion last year or this year. And we are actually looking at the market growing probably at 16 to 17%, or maybe a little more, 20%, to reach about 1,000 billion by 2025, which is in less than 5 years. So the market is growing, it will grow. And if I actually share with you what's going to happen in 2028, that figure will knock your socks off. So it is no longer a question of should we be moving to the cloud? It's a question of when are we moving to the cloud? Cloud as in loosely put as a virtual place where all our data and other things sit. So that's the question. That's the answer that as IT people we need to come up, and that's the question that as businesses we need to ask ourselves. Typically, digital transformation is most of the time based on four premises for me. One is technology, which we all get very excited about. Two is data, very, very important, right? Three is the process. What is the process? And four is really the organization change. And if your digital transformation is anything but these, then you are not doing a digital transformation. So at anything, at any point you touch your transformation, it will trigger off any one of these four buttons, sometimes more than one button. So be prepared for it and make sure that your technology transformation or digital transformation or your organization transformation encompasses all of this that we're talking about. I normally focus on two major things when I do a digital transformation. And this is my personal experience. And I'm sure some of you have a different experience. One is, what's the business model? And if you go back to 2 years back, before COVID, and unfortunately we are having to say, we used to say AD and BC, and now we say pre-COVID and post-COVID. So, it's essentially the business models were very different. We were living in a largely brick and mortar world, and the digital model pushing through, or the digital values pushing through to just bolster for space on the brick and mortar space. Come COVID, unfortunately, a lot of that has changed. What could take, and Satya Nadella very beautifully put it, what would normally have taken a couple of years or 5 years is happening in a matter of months. We have, and we will be continuously pushed into the realms of digital. We do not have a choice of, is it digital? It's a question of, have we already not moved? What are you doing in the brick and mortar world? A lot of companies, organizations, corporations have started mimicking or imitating the brick and mortar models onto their digital world. Retail giants have started creating stores on the digital world that resemble the brick and mortar store. And we have enough and more examples, not only globally, but some hugely successful examples in in India, some of the digital masters, and I'm taking an example here, like Asian Paints, for example, have done phenomenal amount of work. They have always been a front runner. They've always been an innovator. They've done a phenomenal amount of work on the digital front, the way they reach out, whether it's a B2B or a B2C. So your business model is the key. Anything you do has to be focused on your business model. And the second is your customer experience. Your customer experience needs to be absolutely paramount while you're working on your digital transformation strategy. Any transformation that does not benefit, value, impact the customer is no use. It's a waste of time, waste of resources, waste of money, and waste of a complete lifetime, because you are not the focus. The customer is the focus. Your business model, while it is the focus, the business model has been designed for the customer. You call it a customer, you call it a consumer, you call it a B2B. And this doesn't matter whether you are doing a B2B or a B2C. So please bear these two in mind. And I always say this to people: take a printout of this and put it in your room. Because if you are making a decision in your transformation that doesn't touch on these two, go back to the drawing board. We have been having innumerable discussions with vendors, with partners, with solution providers, and you're always thinking, which is the right solution for me? Is it from IBM? Is it from Infosys? Is it from anybody? Is it from any of these big players? All of these vendors and partners come and make presentations to you. They say, this is right. Microsoft tells you this is right. IBM tells you that is right. The ERP vendors, SAP and Oracle, everybody comes to you and say, this is right. As a CIO, as an IT head, or as IT leader, as an IT evangelist, what is the right cloud solution for your business? Have you put together a cloud strategy? Do you have a cloud transformation paper in place? Have you run that by your board and say, guys, going forward, guys and girls, going forward, the next 3 years, this is how the journey is going to look, and this is where I'm going to take you. Start doing that. Figure out what is right for your business, and then map what's available in the business to your business, in the marketplace to your business. Have you started serving, or can your cloud model, can your new model serve the changing customer preferences? A customer is no longer okay to be treated the way you were treating him 2 years back, the way you were treating him in 2020, the way you are probably treating him in the first half of 2021. He's saying, I am the centerpiece. I am on your mantle. Look at me. Ask me what I want, and ask me how I want it and how soon I want it. Your strategy, your cloud migration strategy needs to answer. It is not about a what or a how. It's about how soon do I need it? Where do I need it? Again, another giant player I would like to talk about is Amazon. Amazon has done this very beautifully. Does your cloud migration strategy enhance your operational efficiency? Operationals could mean so many things, from your email, something as basic as your email, to something as little evolved like your help desk, to your ERP, to your customer service, to your, and doesn't matter what tool you use. You could leverage on all the artificial intelligence available in the marketplace. You could leverage on all the robotic technologies that are available. You could leverage on all the IoTs. You could leverage on all of the real things that are today available in the marketplace, tried and tested. It doesn't matter which vendor or which partner you work with, but does any of these solutions enhance your operational efficiency? Is your time to market reducing? Has the cash to order cycle come down? Has your time to release a purchase order come down? Has your time to respond to a customer come down? Has your customer or your supplier been able to deliver quickly? Is your product raw materials being delivered to you on time? Is your just-in-time inventory working? Is your first in, first out process working? Is your last in, first out process working? Look at all of this. And if any of these are not a tick, go back and fix that. Very, very important. You need to get, and this is basic, your operational efficiency need to be enhanced. If you're taking the same 10 clicks to get to your purchase order, something is not right. So go back and look at it. is your organization ready for a cloud migration? I always ask this. Ask your CFO, ask your CMO, ask your chief legal, ask your chief of HR, ask your chief of shared services, ask your chief operations officer, ask your chief of whatever he's doing, he or she is doing, ask her or him, are you ready for a cloud migration? You obviously have to educate the organization on what it really means to be on the cloud, what it really means to migrate, what is the journey going to be, how difficult it is going to be, how challenging it is going to be, how many stops are they going to be on the way, how many pitfalls are going to be, how soon will it take to change the tires, how much time will it take change to refuel, how many fuel stations are there on the way, what tires are available. After all this is done, how easy or how difficult is it going to be to drive the car? Has the gear shift changed? Is it automatic or manual? Is it electrical or is it fuel? Is it petrol or diesel? You need to answer all these questions, and your business needs to know, is your organization, when I say organization, is your business, are the people who matter in your organization ready for your cloud migration? If they are not ready, they are not going to come to you on this journey, or they're going to be very suspect on this journey. We all face challenges in digital transformation, right? We face strategic challenges, we face regulatory challenges, we face technology challenges, we face cyber challenges. These are from a strategy point of view. These are from a must-have point of view. As you go down to the other side, you have operations issues, you have resilience issues, you have privacy issues, you have data, you have so many issues. And I'm not going to read out all of them. And all of us, I personally have faced, so I work in the Middle East region. We have regulatory issues. We have massive regulatory issues. For example, data residency, data sovereignty, data location are major concerns for us. I work for a large public joint stock corporation. It's very important for my organization to know where my data is sitting. There are laws that do not permit us to take data outside of this region, outside of this country. We need to ensure that whether it's my cloud strategy, whether it's my disaster recovery leading to business continuity strategy, is there a possibility for me to find a place where my data resides and that is acceptable to the law and that is regulatory. Singapore has their own laws. India, I know, is getting a lot of regulatory laws in place. Very, very important, because what suits Pan may not suit Peter. So you need to make sure that what you're doing, and I always say this to people, I've worked for large global corporations. Your regulatory strategy for Middle East may not be the right regulatory strategy for Asia Pacific, may not be the right regulatory strategy for the US of A. You need to, so your digital technology, your cloud migration strategy needs to bear all of this in mind. The most important among all of this is okay. You know what's the most important thing that you need to take care of is, are we ready for undergoing the mental paradigm shift? This is a massive shift. Are we ready mentally? Do we have it in here that we are ready for the change? Get your organization, as a leader, get your organization ready for the change. Work on getting that happen. Communicate, educate, talk. Technology is really the biggest story in business today. Simple. And your business needs to buy into this. If your business is not buying into this, wear your salesman hat. Start reading books that needs to tell you how to sell. Today, you need to sell the technology story. Organizations, Airbnb, Amazon, all of these have been built on technology. If technology is not there today, you cannot run the business. You take all of this. Tesla, the car, runs on technology. I mean, it runs on technology. A lot of organizations, a lot of the big players have gone. Nike uses technology. Nike is again a digital master, uses technology beautifully, whether it's in their running shoes, whether it's in the way they treat their customers, whether it's in the way of understanding the market and bringing the product to the marketplace, all of it, they use it beautifully. I gave you an example of Asian Paints, Nike, Amazon. These are all leaders. They are all market leaders. A lot of companies in the fashion space today are using technology beautifully. Please get this very, very, it's simple, but it is the biggest story in business today. And you, Mr. or Miss CIO, are the driver. You are the captain of the ship. Rethink your impossibilities. There are things we said we could not do and we will not do in 2018. come 2019, we were forced or pushed into thinking it. I am saying in 2021, rethink your impossible. What was not possible is today possible, has to be made possible. You need to make it happen as a CIO, as a technology leader, as an evangelist, as a business. You need to make it happen. Partner with your business, work on making it happen. Say, yes, this is the journey I'm going, and this is no longer an impossibility. Adidas has got a beautiful baseline, which all of you know. That is really, really true. You need to get back to the drawing board and say, how do we make this possible? How do we deliver this to the business? Business has changed. We've been noticing the business change. It's moving slowly, but it is changing. The sheets will never come back. The sheets are being removed. And as you're removing, we're seeing a new world out there, a new world. Business has changed. People have changed. Behaviors have changed. Technology has changed. When you sneeze on the road today, I was, it's a very, very funny incident that happened. I was in a public place in Dubai about 3 days back, and somebody sneezed, and I said, bless you. And he actually turned and looked at me and said, Jesus, he said, I haven't heard that in a year. And we both started laughing loudly. It's true, isn't it? when somebody sneezed, you moved away. You covered yourself. Business has changed, people, and it is not going to come back to the original access. Align your digital transformation project, your cloud migration projects to your business value. Business, you have to deliver value to your business. Cloud migration is a team sport. It is not an individual contributor sport. It's gone. Technology is not a black box. Cloud is not a black box. Stop saying it. Get people to understand. Unravel the box and say everything is transparent. You need to be able to see a screen that is white. You need to have a screen that is completely open, completely transparent, and everybody can see it. And start playing the team sport. The baton needs to be passed on and needs to come back, and you need to keep running the relay. Very interesting slide, and I'm going to spend too much time on it because I think I'm running out of time. So it doesn't matter which customer you cater to. The digital capability and the leadership capability will always be on the X and the Y axis. And you need to make sure whether you're considering the consumer like this, a consumer who's inundated, a consumer who's, I call it a fashionista, who is an innovator, who wants to be ahead, who's willing to try out, or a consumer who is completely automated. The solution, the migration, the proposition for each of these 4 players is extremely difficult. If you look at the fashionista, her or his digital capability is very, very high, right? And obviously your leadership capability needs to move up. If you are catering to a robotics on the right-hand side top on a screen, their digital capability is very high. Your leadership capability should be very different. So depending on how you play on this, and it is like the Gartner hype cycle, depending on how you play on this, your strategy needs to change. Your catering needs to be different for each of these 4 different customers. And somebody like me, I have all of these 4 different customers in our mix of companies. So the technology strategy is not a one size fit all. It needs to be an integrated, a different strategy. Are you ready? Can your cloud migration strategy support a secure, a scalable, and a business-ready platform? Extremely important. And if your cloud migration strategy doesn't support a secure, scalable, and a business-ready transform, go back to the whiteboard, go back to the drawing board, realign with business, meet them again, have a coffee, talk to them and say, yes, we need to do this. Yes, we need to do that. Because unless you do this, you cannot make it happen. Yeah. This, ladies and gentlemen, really, boys and girls, people, was my last slide, and I'm going to close with this and throw the floor open for any questions. Thank you very much.